Today we are going to be working on attaching our monsters together. It is important that you remember where it said leave opening for stuffing on your pattern. So I'm just going to go over each pattern and show you where it is in case you don't have yours anymore. Okay, so the one with kind of the block head, it's going to be right at the top where it says leave an opening for the stuffing. This is the pattern I am using. My opening is also going to be right at the top. If anyone is using this pattern, you are going to leave your opening at the side of the head. And the same thing for this one, at the side of the head. And then this monster pattern is going to be at the side of the leg. Okay, so that is very important to remember to leave an opening for the stuffing, because what you are going to do is you are going to start on one dot and we are going to do the blanket stitch all the way around until the other dot. Okay, then we're leaving our opening here and we are going to add that batting in, and I sent you home each a bag of batting. You're going to stuff your monster with the batting and then you're going to close up that opening. So we're going to talk about how to do this, and I have this scheduled to take you 3 days to do. So I figured doing the blanket stitch on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday you are going to close that opening. Okay, so here's my monster. You will notice that I added some little bows from last time because my son Richie saw my monster and he said he really wanted it to be a girl to go with his boy monster. So I have now turned my monster into a girl. So I am going to attach my fronts, my front and my back. Okay, making sure that my designs are on the outside here. This is how I want this to look. Okay, and I'm going to match it up pretty good here. And then I might want to take some pins and just pin this in place, just to ensure that those don't really move around on me. Okay, then I'm going to start my blanket stitch, and I'll do a quick review for any of you that need to remember how to do the blanket stitch, but this is going to be a decorative stitch that we do along the side. Okay, so again, you want to start where that opening says. So my opening was going to be right at the top here. I'm starting between the two layers so that my knot ends up on the inside of my monster. Okay, and then for this, see if you can see this here. For this, you are just always going to come through the back, okay, just like the whip stitch. However, with the blanket stitch, you want to make sure to leave that little loop there. And now you're going to go from the back set, from the side you are going, and you're going to take your needle and go in the direction you are stitching. So I am stitching from this way up to my ear here. So I'm going to make sure that my needle goes from the side that I started on to the side that I'm going through that loop, and then I'm just going to pull tight. Okay, and the first one might not look quite like it's supposed to just because it is the first one. So let's go ahead and do a second one. So I'm going to go through both layers from the back to the front, making sure that as I pull through, I leave a little loop here. And then with my loop, I'm going to go from this direction. I'm going to go the direction I am going with my stitch. And then I'm just going to pull tight. And I should end up with a stitch that has the little line on top. Okay, you're going to do that all the way around until you get to where that said leave an opening for your stuffing. You're going to end there and you're going to stuff your monster in that opening. Now, this is not going to be enough thread for me to get all the way around my monster. So once I get enough thread so that I have just enough to tie off, I'm going to tie off and then I'm going to start a new blanket stitch. And I'm going to have to do that several times before I get through my blanket stitch with my monster. I am giving you 2 days to get from this all the way around to where your opening for your stuffing is on the other side, because this should take you a little while. You don't want your blanket stitches to be too far apart, or your monster is not going to stay closed once we add the stuffing to it. So you want those to be pretty close together there. Again, if you have any questions, email me. Make sure you're sending me pictures of your work. Okay, so now I have a little bit of thread left, but I want to make sure that I tie it off so that I still have plenty of thread here. So I just finished my last blanket stitch. I'm just going to go underneath that last loop there. Okay, keeping a loop here on my finger, and I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go around that loop and then go through the loop with my needle, and I'm going to pull tight. Okay, and if you don't feel like that's a very secure knot, you can always try to do that another time, but you're going to go through, keeping a loop around your finger, going around the loop, through the loop. So you need to make sure you have plenty of thread so that you can make that loop and go through that loop. So don't forget that. And now I'm just going to grab some more thread, and I'm going to continue on with my blanket stitch all the way around my monster.